Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica. I'm just kidding. I'm just before.
So you guys, it seems like we owe all of the conspiracy theorists a giant apology, especially the ones who were pushing the whole idea of Pizzagate. People laughed at them. People made fun of them. People mocked them. People called them crazy. People got censored across the internet. People lost their jobs. People were castigated and cast out of society to a certain level because of this. Now, I myself have always been like, the conspiracy theories, they're just shit that hasn't been proved yet. If it hasn't been actively disproved, then to me, it's just waiting for somebody to prove it. And now we actually have proof that a lot of the shit for Pizzagate was 100% real. And where did this come from? The files that I'm not allowed to say the first name of on here, because if I say the dude's name, at least this early in the show, they're not going to let the show get any views. Like, they will kill the traction. They will not push it. I'm surprised, honestly, with the words Pizzagate involved, that they've allowed me to get this out to as many people as I have. So please do me a favor, because I guarantee you they're going to try to shit on this live. Please hit the like button. I'm not that dude who comes and goes, hey, everybody, hit the live, like multiple times in a live ever. I rarely ever ask you to do anything. And sometimes I ask you to hit the button on a poll, but please hit the like button on this, because this is important information and I want to get this out there. And I have a feeling I'm going to have to take this down right as soon as we're done with the live. And I hate it when I have to do that, but sometimes it just is what it is. So I've got some stuff that we're going to be checking out here, and a lot of it is from those absolutely nasty files. But before we get there, I want to show you guys. So we did a little something last night that was really, really cool. It was for a dude who was attacked by a violent, morbidly obese Antifa member named Spider Mike, or as we call him, Wider Mike, because he's at least 400 pounds of pure unadulterated retard. This dude was an elderly, disabled veteran in a mobility scooter. And Spider Mike came and pushed him all the way over, smashing his head onto the concrete. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because we did a whole live about it last night, but a lot of us donated last night. We actually got this dude's GoFundMe all the way up to like $12,000. It started at $7,000 when we, or $700 when we started, and we got it all the way up to $12,000. Now, Antifa found out about this and they mass reported it as fraud. So they took it down, and everybody's going to be getting a refund that donated. And if you want to donate, I just want you to know there is a link in the chat. It is the pinned comment. That is his Give, Send, Go. Now, what I've realized is that GoFundMe is a very liberal-based site and company. Give, Send, Go is a more conservative-based company. So they're probably not going to screw this one up like they did for poor Captain Jerry, who served this country for 40 years, 32 years in the Navy, and then another 8 in the reserves, and was attacked violently for the second time. He got a concussion, a possible traumatic brain injury, and a broken rib by Spider Mike. And it wasn't fraud at all whatsoever. It didn't say on the GoFundMe anything that wasn't true. It's money to help get him a new mobility scooter because he has trouble walking, and also to help him get back on his feet because he's going to be down for a while. Portland Andy has helped with this. 0 Hour over on X helped with this. And we got this bitch all the way up there. Last I checked, it was at $15,000 and they nuked it. So I never ask you guys to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. Last night, as soon as we got off, I donated $500. And before we got on tonight, because I didn't know about it last night, so that's why I didn't donate first. I donated after. But before I got on here tonight, I donated $500. If anybody who donated wants to go and donate again, I don't know if your refunds have hit yet or not, but I wanted to put it in the chat so that you guys would know. Let's get into this Pizzagate thing because this is absolutely wild. So I think that one thing that it's really important to acknowledge right up front is that Jeffrey Epstein had a bank account named Baal. Let me get this bigger on the screen for you guys. Now, Baal is an ancient demonic figure and an enemy to Jesus. Baal was widely worshipped through child sacrifice. Now, this was back in the day who America's greatest allies worshipped through child sacrifice until they converted to what their current day religion is. I have to word that incredibly carefully because they'll have no problem nuking all my shit for talking about America's greatest ally. If you know, you know. So this is a memorandum right here from Jeffrey Epstein saying, please wire $11,438 from the above account to the account named Baal. He literally named his bank account after an ancient satanic god, which is really, really nuts. That's really insane. That's crazy shit, but it's real. It's absolutely verified. Now, we're of course talking about the dude who had this picture in his entryway. You guys might recognize who that guy is. You guys might recognize that guy. Hey, only 386 likes. Crikey, thank you. If you guys could like this chat, because I know they're going to try to suppress it, I would genuinely appreciate it, man. I don't ask you guys for a lot, but if you could do that, that would help me out a lot. You guys might recognize this. This is Bill Clinton. Yeah, that's Bubba right there, as they called him, Bubba Clinton. And he had another picture that becomes really important. Now, this never made sense to me, you guys. It never made sense to me why he would have Bush and Clinton. And do you guys see this image? Do you see what this image is? That's George Bush with two paper airplanes and a bunch of building blocks that were probably built into towers. And the towers on this have been knocked down. Now, everybody knows that cultists and people that are into symbolism, cultists are people that are heavily into symbolism. And this to me looks as if he's saying Bush did 9/11. And the fact that he has two ex-presidents paintings on his walls is pretty crazy. There's a specific document that, and in fact, these two, the Clintons, it's breaking. They just agreed to an in-person deposition to avoid contempt in that guy investigation. Did they really think they had a choice? Because they were subpoenaed lawfully to show up, and they absolutely refused to show up. And now they've said that they're going to go because they know if they don't, they're going to be held in contempt of court, and they could absolutely go to jail for that. So I want this right here. This is really crazy and important. This is verified from the FBI files, an interview of a purported victim. So it says he was a victim of a type of ritual sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar. A fucking scimitar? But left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered and their intestines removed and individuals were eating from the intestines. He was also hard-r'd by George Bush 1. The response is, thanks, I didn't realize Bush hard-r'd him too. Okay. That's pretty fucking insane. That would be why Epstein had a painting of Clinton, because we all know Bubba all up in them files, and one of George Bush. I just want to put this up here. I want you guys to just let me know if you think that it is right that this is an email that Jeffrey Epstein sent to somebody, and they redacted who this was to. They redacted who this was to. Our government is covering for whoever is underneath that fucking black square. We should know who that was sent to, because this is implicating that they sent a video, a torture video, to that creature that these files are about. Why are they covering up for these people? Why is our government covering up for weirdos? This document is crazy. Regarding head count for pizza, are you sure this might not be Jim Jones Kool-Aid event? Please eat my slice. Does the pizza offer include those of us who can't make the meeting because we're out here editing? Because if so, count me in. Who all is in the Austin office today? Who is going to want pizza? We only have one slice and we need to know how thinly to slice it. That doesn't sound to me like they're talking about a crusty, cheesy food. This is in the actual files, you guys. This is in the actual fucking files. This is real. Right here, we have, she looks pregnant. And Jeffrey Epstein said, you mean radiating a soft glow? The look of bliss and excitement? Yeah, that's the pizza. I don't know about you guys. Now that I'm old and I eat correctly, pizza gives me a fucking hangover. It doesn't give me a soft glow. I want to point out here, do you see this line of books behind Jeffrey Epstein? Do you know what those books are? That is the Talmud, my guy. That is the Talmud. If you know what the Talmud is, you know what the Talmud is. That is a bunch of books from the religion of America's greatest ally. So remember who Ghislaine Maxwell was for a second. Remember who her father was. Her father was the most famous super spy for Mossad of all time. He's also the guy who owned all of the companies, the 3 companies that made the textbooks and curriculum for American schools. We grew up reading books from Ghislaine Maxwell's dad's companies. He controlled what we were taught in school, and those books are still in our schools to this day. They wrote fucking history books that we learned from. We were taught what they wanted us to know as children. So this dude, E, had the Talmud in his office, named a bank account bail, mocked Goyim explicitly in his emails. And if you know what Goyim is a term for anyone who's not in their religion, America's greatest allies' religion, because we're subhuman to them. We're human cattle to them. We are to be made slaves, and we are to pay them taxes. We exist to serve them. That's in their religion. And told other Jews to only hire Jews who can prove their ancestry. It's all in the emails, you guys. It's all in the emails. This is insane shit. Now, I want you to see this. So this is also from the files. This is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation Intelligence Bulletin. These are code words and terminology used by pedophiles to identify their sexual preferences. Hot dog equals boy. Pizza equals girl. Cheese equals little girl. Pasta equals little boy. Ice cream equals male prostitute. A walnut equals a person of color. Map means skeet. And sauce stands for orgy. Here we go. What is this? Oh, what's this? HillaryClinton.com. Oh my goodness. A hot dog with no bun. Thanks. H. Hi, everybody. Please send me your lunch orders and I'll pick everything up. Thanks. I mean, is that innocent? Do you think that Hillary Clinton was just in there, ordering glizzies with no bun? I mean, maybe it's just glizzies with no bun. Maybe she's got like a gluten intolerance and that was innocent. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think on that? So all of that is pretty crazy. I want to get to some of these supers real quick, man. I love you guys. Gustafarian said, Give Send Go link is bad. It went straight for me. I've even checked it since I saw you say that, man. Wesley said, did Ghislaine Maxwell abduct Madeleine McCann? Have you seen the Suspect sketch? I'm not sure. I haven't looked into that, man. There's literally 3 million pages of stuff that I'm going into. And today, I got sent some stuff that isn't released. And I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm honestly kind of terrified. It's super freaky stuff. And it hurt my whole soul when I looked at it. And I don't know if it's wise for me or my family to release it, but I'm going through everything that I can. I'm sorry I can't give you a better answer, man. Serenity said, is there a wood chipper big enough for Spider Mike, dog? I don't know. We might need Elon to build us a fucking Tesla wood chipper that can hold a wide capacity. Gustafaron said, link is working now. Thanks, Gus. Hell yeah, brother. Right on. Thank you so much for caring, bro. You're a good dude. Rhinosaurus said, anyone see Anna Wick on Sean Atwood? Claimed to be Jeffrey's niece and said she was in the Cult of Ball like 10 months ago. I actually have a clip of that queued up so that we can watch it. Great eye, man. Great catch, because we're going to be watching that. Miss Kim, hopefully not covering, but using for court info. Now, that is a distinct possibility that now there's so much pressure that they might actually be working on getting some arrests. And it is in the Epstein Transparency Act that if there's an active open investigation and releasing that information would be harmful to the investigation, that they don't have to release it legally. But I feel like the trust has been pretty fucking breached, in my opinion. You know, people were told that these files would get released. People were told, you know, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel seemed pretty authentic and gung-ho about getting us some arrests and some justice for these survivors and the ones that didn't survive as well. And then it turned out that they were full of fucking shit and that they're absolute bitches. I have zero respect for Kash Patel and Dan Bongino for the way that they've handled this. Even them coming out and saying that they fully believe, everything they said about the files before the files were released. When we got the files, it showed them just to be fucking liars, bro. Absolute liars, including that Epstein himself. And I'm going to be getting into that more after I've done more research, but it looks like there is a real serious chance that he was actually moved out of that prison. So Tom Baza said, I am so mad about the GoFundMe, so I donated tonight. I'm 15 years sober from H. I love you, brother. Thank you for all you do. This is my first ever super. Wood chipper for life. Bro, thank you so much, Tom. First off, let me congratulate you on your sobriety. I love you. I'm so proud of you. I know exactly how hard that is, man. And all of us in recovery, we're all in this together. You're absolutely killing it, man. Thank you for donating tonight. And thank you so much for doing your first super here, man. It means a lot. I'm glad to have you as a part of all of our community. The Motor Rockers, bro, my super chats are censored more than the Epstein files. Dude, and that's part of the thing. The more I push the envelope with what I talk about here, and I talk about things that they don't want me to talk about, it's not just going to affect, me being able to get my content pushed out, advertisers not wanting to be represented with my content, so then YouTube has less reason to push my content, but it's also going to affect the what they feel is safe for supers. So I apologize. It's because of the content that I'm doing, but I feel like the truth needs to be out there, bro. I apologize that they're censoring you guys so hard. Volcupine, the ruling C UNTs needs to be removed once and for all. The ruling C and UTs once and for all. They are a true problem hiding behind distraction and division. I feel you, brother. You had to code that for us. Norse Trojan said, some guy named Noah needs to start building a boat. Facts, dog. Facts. Hold on. Texas Sparky. Hello, world. These are your leaders. Nothing different from the ancient Romans. Same fucking thing. Isn't it crazy that our life at this point is working our fingers to the bone so that we can pay taxes to fucking satanic pedophiles? It's absolutely wild that all this shit is true, man. Rick Robbins, ask Vic Foster if the Clintons are guilty. Bro, we all know. Is there anybody here? Hold on. Let's do a poll. I want to check this poll. 91% of people here said they believe that Pizzagate was real the whole time. Now, let me do another poll real quick. Okay, so I just want to know what you think. Are the Clintons dirty? Do you think the Clintons are dirty, that they did bad shit, they did illegal shit, they have to do with the Epstein thing, they have to do with kids, they have to do with, whatever was on those emails was really bad, all of the crazy people that got Clintoned? What do you guys think? Dudes, drones! John Benet Ramsey could have ended up with E. Oh my God, that's terrifying, dude. That's terrifying. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, bro. Robin Wolf Gaming said, the only ice I hate is on the roads. Sucks to drive. I don't want to sound racist here, you guys. Somebody's going to clip this and they're going to say I'm racist. But I'm more afraid of black ice than I am of any other type of ice, because I can't see it on the road at night and it might flip me right off the road. It's just a thing. Black ice scares me. Yo, Sergeant Payne, thank you so much, brother. Hey, JD, my brother is a recovering addict and he left the halfway house, but promised to go back tomorrow, but we don't think he will. We don't know if he relapsed. He got a nasty cold and a slight shake to his hands. Any advice for him? His name is Cody. Well, brother, here's the thing is I don't know exactly what type of halfway house it is. The sober houses that I've worked for, you have to be able to piss clean to come back. He may or may not be clean from the symptoms that you were telling me, and just the fact that he left the halfway house. It doesn't sound innocent. It doesn't sound great. I would reach out to him. I would let him know that you love him and that you're willing to back him as long as he goes back and gets back on track. But I wouldn't give him any money. And I would let him know that you're there as long as he's doing the right thing, but that you don't agree with this choice that he's made to leave the halfway house, and that you're concerned, and do it in a loving way, but be very firm. No one in your family should be giving him any money unless he is doing the right thing and he's getting UAs regularly. It's kind of one of those things that unfortunately has to play out. It sucks. It's heartbreaking. Watching somebody that you love struggle like this is terrible. As somebody who works in the recovery field, my heart is broken on a perpetual basis. because I get my hopes and I get my heart wrapped up in people. And, sometimes it goes this way, and you can't force anyone to do anything they're not ready to do. What you can do is allow them to hit their bottom and not save their ass. The only saving you should give them is help getting back into treatment. That's what it has to be, man, unfortunately. So, Clank, I'm a tank. Hey, and bro, hold on. Just one more thing, man. Your brother will be in our prayers, and I love you. Clank, I'm a tank. If Epstein was in witness protection, Dan and Cash would be required by law to keep the story that he asked himself. I didn't even think about that. And holy shit. Wow. That's insane. Donovan Bowen said, hey, JD, I'm still staying sober, going on 6 months. Yes. Now, and did you see George H.W. Bush story about eating the baby and shit out of the small intestines and killing it? We actually just covered that. It just sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. That can't be true. But if it's not true, then fucking explain this. Explain this. If it's not true, why did he have a painting of him with 2 paper airplanes and what looks like blocks, little kids blocks, homie, kids toys that represent the Twin Towers? He also had this picture right here of another ex-president that was clearly in his pocket, that he clearly had dirt on. So on that note, I'm going to check this. 99%. I have never had a poll where it was 99%. 99% of us, the almost 2,000 people in the chat, think that the Clintons are dirty as fuck. That is incredible. Scarlet Woman, I sent you a Facebook message. I'm old. Extra ball info. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. Nomad Org. Sorry, it took me a couple attempts, bro. I'm old and moldy. Still no clue what Pizzagate is. We're going to be getting into that extensively here in just a minute, brother. Relic said, I'm from Norway, and seeing the crown princess on the list and previous scandals at the royal house has a chance to end the monarchy here in Norway. It's sad to see. Absolutely. This isn't an America-centric issue, you guys. Epstein was working for Mossad. He was garnering blackmail materials against world leaders, elites, billionaires from all around the world. And once he got busted in Florida, he then signed a contract that has been leaked with the FBI to cooperate with them to get the biggest sweetheart deal Florida has ever given anybody on child charges, and included absolute immunity and a non-disclosure agreement for 4 of his potential co-defendants. They kept him anonymous and gave them blanket immunity in the situation, which is crazy. Gustav Faragon, Alex Jones was right all along. Gustav, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, no, we owe Alex Jones an apology. Patrick said, hey, JD, I don't always agree with what you have to say, but that's the beauty of America. I've started a constitutional law podcast. My goal is to help people understand their rights. God bless, JD. Thank you for doing that work, man, because we all deserve to know our constitutional rights. That is absolutely important. And we don't have to agree on much, brother. I bet we agree on the important things, man. William said, we could have a group therapy with Spider Mike with soap and a sock. Harder than soap. Here's something for you to get some hydration tonight. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Be rad for real. I needed to chat with you somehow, man. If it's possible, I got a story I need to tell you. Just need your thoughts. Please hit me up on X, bro. Best way to get a hold of me. Hunter, what's up, dog? How you doing? Mike Zero Source said, this man may be a conspiracy theorist, but check out Ted Gunderson. He's a retired FBI agent who called out demonic crimes please check out his older videos. Thank you for putting me on game, bro. God is with me. When the F are we going to get fed up with this evil and stand up and do something about it? It's going to have to take all of us to stand up against this, and it will. And that I would like to present to you guys is why I believe they do so much to keep us separated. They want to separate us by color. They want to separate us by gender. They want to separate us by political party. If we're fighting each other, if Americans are at each other's throats because of petty differences, then we're not going after them. We're not standing up and saying enough. We're not doing this anymore. And that you can see it clearly in prison. It's why they encourage the racial division. That's why they encourage gangs going after each other, because it makes peace for the administration and the people in power. Hunter said, how you been, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you too, man. How you doing? Jack Dog, what's up, brother? How you doing? Appreciate you. Mr. Paramedic, I don't know if you covered it, but do you have any idea where Captain Jerry's GoFundMe went? So Antifa found out that we had the GoFundMe for Captain Jerry. That last night, when we found it, it had $700 in it. By the time we got off this live, it had 12 grand in it. A couple hours later, it had 15 grand in it. Antifa found out and they mass reported it for fraud. Pedophile Pam Hempel organized a group of people to all mass report that GoFundMe. And GoFundMe took it down, and everybody's going to be getting a refund because they took it down. So at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, Jerry started a Give, Send, Go. Before we got on here, I donated $500 to the Give, Send, Go. I know a lot of people donated last night. I don't know if the money has hit their banks yet. I don't know if they see it in their bank. I haven't checked mine. I know it's really hard, but if anybody has the heart to donate and it's not going to hurt them, Give, Send, Go won't take it down. GoFundMe is kind of a bitch like that. They're a very liberal business. Give, Send, Go doesn't do that shit to people. And again, thank you to everybody who donated last night. I'm sorry that it was uprooted by a retarded pedophile, Pam Tifa. Sailor Cat, now that all this is coming out, they need to bust into the Grove. Bohemian fucking Grove. Yes. Bohemian Grove here in Cali, and they will probably find out much more wild shit going on. Yes, this all ties in with Bohemian Grove and what the elites are doing out there as well. Yes. Mike Zero Source, you'll find Ted Gunderson was right. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Roman Wolf, I'm sorry I ruined pizza for you tonight, man. I'm sorry, brother. Ivan said, found you from Ep 229 of unsub. Been watching your shorts and vids whenever they pop up. Stay awesome, brother. Oh, and invest in wood chippers. Epstein List is going to make him a popular item. Hey, to all the unsub crew, you dirty pepperbacks, you smelly plops, I love you. Thank you for being here, man. You know this is all one big family, and can I just say, let's go, Brandon! Brandon Herrera, Congress, Texas, 23rd District. Big love. Brian Ward, bro, look up the story of ball worship and its association with Lord of the Flies. Suddenly, the excrement accusations don't seem out of place. Dude, I'm trying to tread really fucking carefully with what I get into tonight, because if I go too hard, I'm at mad risk with what I'm talking about already here on YouTube. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit chill, just a little bit chill. But I want to get into this thing that Ben Swanson, because a lot of people don't know what Pizzagate is. So I want to watch this, and I think you guys are going to find it very interesting. This dude has been going hard about Pizzagate for a really long time.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it. So what? My professional reputation was obliterated. That wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real. Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but that child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist. Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare that to what we have now learned.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a DC area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate?
Well, the story that came to be known as Pizzagate did not begin with a rumor, nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed. It began with WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta.
There you go. There you go. 99% of us believe that the Clintons are dirty. And there is another link in this whole situation. Pizzagate, Epstein, and the Clintons.
Those emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers and former law enforcement, as unusual to say the least. References to pizza and to pizza handkerchiefs and to maps, to private gatherings involving powerful people, some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed that Podesta was using the same terminology that they use to speak in coded language. And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography, CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image.
So somebody said you missed another link, Podesta and Chester Bennington of Lincoln Park. So I just want to let you know that I had a long conversation with Chester Bennington's son. And he told me that one point of contention with Chester and the rest of the band was that they liked hanging out with the Clintons and that Chester found them to be sketchy and made him incredibly uncomfortable. So take that for what it is.
Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I was called a dangerous conspiracy theorist and a madman for claiming that pedophiles and possibly even pedophile elites might use coded language, even though it was online pedophiles who said that's exactly what they do. Which brings us back to this new Epstein release, because in it, the word pizza is mentioned 911 times. That's right, 911 times adults are emailing back and forth about slices of pizza and about pizza parties. And the word pizza is often paired with grape soda in bizarre contexts within emails addressed to Epstein by individuals whose names have been mostly redacted. So here's one, quote, "This is better than a Chinese cookie. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand." Or this one, "Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please?" Or this one from 2014, "Sit down, because I know you won't believe this. Are you sitting? Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you. He did not mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you are in the know on this."
This is not normal fucking communications, you guys. This is not innocent, normal talking about food, having a lunch date to go eat starches and carbs and fats. This is weird fucking shit. This is weird shit. Does anybody think that this is an innocent email right here? Is there anybody who thinks that this is normal? I'm doing a poll right now. Do you think this is real life Pizzagate shit? Or do you think that these people are actually just talking about pizza? Do you think that there are hundreds of mentions of pizza in these Epstein files and that it's all just normal? That they're actually talking about crust and cheese and fucking marinara, maybe a little pepperoni? I don't buy any of it. I don't buy any of it. 95% of people believe that this is not. 96%, 95, it's jumping around a little bit, think that this is absolutely talking about some foul shit to do with kids. And I would 100% agree.
A little winking emoji. All of the emails that I just shared with you were from 2014, right about the same time period of the John Podesta emails that WikiLeaks published and started the entire Pizzagate saga.
Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked in those leaked Podesta emails.
Hold on, just look at these dudes real quick. Tell me these dudes look like they don't fuck kids. These dudes look like they fuck kids, bro. Like if these dudes came in on a prison yard, we would be like, yep, those dudes need to get beat up, get some new breathing holes around their neck, need to get fucking beat with a lock and a sock. They look the part. Look in their eyes, bro. These dudes are creep as fuck.
This is email that was hacked in those leaked Podesta emails. John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Podesta brothers, again, there was no direct evidence of them being involved in child sex trafficking from those emails. But as we pointed out at the time, there was a lot of bizarre communication, including an email from John Podesta to his brother Tony. The subject line, "Last night was fun," and the first line reads, "Still in torture chamber." That email got really no attention 10 years ago, but today, a 2009 email from Jeffrey Epstein is getting a lot of attention as it asks, "Where are you? You okay? I love the torture video."
And we looked at that email earlier, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And this was all right in front of our faces. But everybody got called crazy for this. Everybody got called crazy for all of this. Brian said, bro, look up the history of ball worship. Yeah, we absolutely. I can't say too much on that on YouTube right now. Mr. Paramedic said, I shall give double as a fuck Antifa then. My dog. Hell yes. Love you so much, bro. Clank, clank, I'm a tank. Not only was he working with Israel, Epstein was a finance guy for the CIA running guns out of Columbus, Ohio with Southern Air Transport. I haven't gotten that deep to find that yet, bro. That's crazy. Zach the Sticks. Audit comes out at the same time as all of this fraud. Well, so here's the thing is all of this shit has been in motion for a while to get these files out. The fact that they dropped it right at this exact time, you know, they've got the fraud happened. They're purposefully sinking millions of dollars into the civil unrest in Minnesota. Don't think that's not well organized and well funded. So there's a lot to try to distract from this shit. But I don't think it's worked because I don't know if your guys' feed is anything like my feed. But my feeds are 100% full of this stuff. Even though they're trying everything in their power to suppress it, people are still getting around that. Roman Wolf Gaming, sorry for bringing up Scotty again, but if you were getting threats and called 911, which is out, I've heard the 911 call, Why leave your family back at home while you travel? Piece of shit. And I like the way in the 911 call, he just made sure to tell him that he was invited to a event for the American Heart Association. He just had to virtue signal at the 911 cop too. Like, I'm a really good person, I promise. I have some new shit that we can talk about with Scotty K Fitness when we get done with this Pizzagate shit that will blow your entire fucking mind. It will absolutely blow your entire mind. Scotty K Fitness, or Matthew, his real name, Matthew, has been hiding a lot from us this entire time. And it's really bad. It's really bad. And it's just the tip of the iceberg of the information that's about to come out. Kevin Poprock said, these files make me sick. Fire up the wood chipper. Brother, these files have been fucking with my mental health. And I'm just going to tell you, some of the stuff that's not released that I had to review today made it 10 times worse, bro. There's so much more out there and it's so much worse. Ryan McNabb, I don't know if anything will be done. Wayfair faded away. I remember the Wayfair shit, bro. I remember that. The Texan, Ted Gunderson, former FBI chief, tells it all, Hoss, decades ago. Chronic Cough said, JD, look into the Wilson mark from the Castaway movie and how it's linked to this. This goes so much deeper than I fear. People aren't ready for the fallout. Stay safe and God bless. I will look into that, brother. Nick said, Mason, Kayla, and Nick say much love and respect, Big Dog. Yo, huge love to Nick, Mason, and Kayla. I love you guys and I appreciate you. Donovan said, you never see Epstein with pizza ever. Nope. Bro was like into fitness and staying thin. People generally that are into fitness and staying thin don't talk about pizza constantly. Pizza, if you're eating clean, eating pizza will make you sick, dog. If you have a regular, healthy, meal plan, eating pizza is going to make you sick. It's not good for you. KDG said, you should connect with the Sean Ryan show. I appreciate the suggestion, my man. Dudes Drones, anyone else done waiting? Government ain't doing shit. The government is not doing shit. We have exactly 0 arrests of the people that were Epstein's customers and clients. 0 arrests of the elites. Only Epstein and Maxwell have been arrested out of this entire circle of people. They're the only 2 arrests. And now Maxwell is sitting at a minimum custody federal facility. And Epstein is probably on another fucking island. The Texan said, your shades ain't my style, but you rocking them like you was Elvis, Hoss. Thank you, brother. I know you probably can't tell, but I have an extremely large head. I got a big head, bro. I got a bobble ass head, dog. So I always got to find big glasses, man. I appreciate you. I like these things. Bradley said, I'm curious what the community thinks about if Trump was in a dirty way. As Trump supporter, I want to know who I'm supporting. Do a poll. Well, we can run a poll on that. I'm going to have some information coming out, but I want to make sure that I'm fully educated about every part of it. I can tell you there's a lot of stuff in these files about Trump that has been debunked. So I'm just going to say that. There are a lot of people that are running around acting like shit from the anonymous tip line in 2019 that involves Trump. The FBI tip line is actual real information. And I don't understand how those people didn't just do a deep dive into it. Take a look. Like there's one specific document where a 13-year-old was saying that she was hard-r'd by Trump, and that this happened from 95 to 96 at his golf course. And then you go back, it's like the Pablo de something golf course. I forget the actual name. I have all of the documents ready to do a video on it. But He didn't own that property until 2002. And it was a completely different golf course that he didn't own and had no association with it. He actually opened it under the name that this anonymous tip alleged victim said it was at. That wasn't named that till 10 years later in 2006. And I will get that video out, but I'm exploring a couple of the other, because his name's mentioned a lot. His name's mentioned a lot in that whole thing. Donovan said, you ever see Jeffrey Epstein with pizza ever? No. Anthony Cavasso said, trying to stay within my budget, trying to build credit for a Harley trike motorcycle. Hope to get one by my early 30s. Wish me luck. Brother, heck yes. That's awesome. I would highly recommend a tricycle. I got so many friends that have died on two wheels, bro. I won't own a motorcycle now because I have kids and a wife, and I know that I'm reckless. I know that once I get on them, I do too much, bro. So I'm kind of scared, bro. Kind of scared. Alicia said, Oprah got a big hand in all of this as well. Been screaming it for years. Missing kids, schoolgirls in Africa, and her behavior during the fires. I 100% in my heart, I believe that Oprah is a dirty ass bitch, bro. I think she's a dirty foot ass, swamp donkey ass, child touching bitch. Now, I haven't found the proof to be able to say I know, but I believe in my heart of hearts that Oprah is a dirty foot scallywag hoe. 100%. James Hart, everything in those files will destroy a government that I fully believe at this point needs to be. They all need to be removed. Listen, any system that is built on the sexual assault of children needs to be hard reset, bro. Hard reset. Pablo, JD, thanks for covering this. This has been pissing me off all day. Keep fighting for truth, JD. I love you. I appreciate you, bro. And Captain Squatch said, you notice both Epstein and Maxwell both died under suspicious circumstances and connections to Mossad. You're talking about Robert Maxwell, correct? And Epstein? Yeah, it's crazy. Mike Zero Source said, Ted Gunderson been proven right. Please look up Ted Gunderson. I got you, bro. Let's check this. 68% of people say no. They do not believe that Trump is dirty in the Epstein files. So somebody had asked what the community's consensus is. A majority, about 68%, believe that Trump is clean when it comes to the Epstein files.
To the fallout from the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein documents, they include communications between the rich and powerful, from the co-owner of an NFL team to billionaires like Elon Musk.
CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest and what the Justice Department says is the last batch of Jeffrey Epstein files.
Friday's release of millions of pages related to Jeffrey Epstein provided a closer look at his connection to world elites from Hollywood to Washington, Wall Street to Buckingham Palace and beyond.
Yeah, well, all those so-called news anchors and their newsrooms for a decade blacklisted this topic. They conditioned you to live in ignorance. They called it a conspiracy. They called me and so many others dangerous for even looking.
For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this, not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question, not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
Well, 10 years later, no investigation ever took place. It's a failure of a complicit government and also of a corporate media that didn't just ignore this evil. They helped to cover it up. And
I believe that they were complicit in covering it up for foul reasons. Anthony Cavasso said, I remember I used to want to be famous and in Hollywood or one of those elites, but now I see how dirty it all is. And now it makes me want to vomit. And brother, I'm just going to tell you this. There's certain opportunities that have come my way. Big opportunities, big money opportunities, big exposure, big fame opportunities that have come my way. And to figure out what was actually on the table and what was being offered to me, if you get one of those opportunities where you could get a deal for things in Hollywood, often you have to sign an NDA before you even can know what it is that you're being offered. So I can't talk about certain things, but I have turned down several big opportunities for big money and big fame because it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I don't want to be anywhere near none of that shit, bro. I'm not about none of that foul shit. And I don't trust none of these motherfuckers, bro. Not a one.
Keep it operating in the shadows. See, by refusing to engage honestly in 2016, by choosing mockery over investigation, by silencing questions instead of asking them, they created the very environment where this evil could thrive. See, they didn't kill bad information as they pretended. They guaranteed it would survive. See, I wasn't censored the way that I was because my reporting was false. I was censored because it was dangerous. Dangerous to narratives, dangerous to reputations, dangerous to a media culture that had grown comfortable acting as a gatekeeper rather than a watchdog. See, the unspoken rule was simple. Some questions are not allowed, not because they're wrong, no, but because they lead to the truth. And the truth? Pizzagate, at least in the form of a cabal of elites and powerful people who delight in the physical and sexual abuse of children, is real.
This story, if somebody would have investigated and actually broken it in the right way, would have been the biggest story in American fucking history, you guys. And the media intentionally covered it up. Now, somebody just mentioned old Harvey from TMZ. Doesn't this seem like it would be right up TMZ's alley? Tabloid news type shit. It turns out Harvey's in the files, you guys. Harvey from TMZ, he's in the files. One of the biggest anchors for another really big one of those networks. It's going to come out tomorrow. You guys really need to watch Jumpsuit Pablo tomorrow. But a huge famous anchor in the media, also in the Epstein files. And they're about to get they're going to get smoked tomorrow, bro. They're going to get smoked tomorrow. Watch for Jumpsuit Pablo's video tomorrow. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy.
Remember how we started. Epstein is Pizzagate. But the other reality it's time to accept, Pizzagate is much more and much bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
He's 100% right. He's 100% right. And I just want you guys to know, it's so weird to me. It's so hard for me to, in any way, shape, or form, ride out with Nicki Minaj, because Nicki Minaj, her husband is a convicted, registered rapist. Her brother is a convicted, registered pedophile. He's not even registered yet because he's still in prison. I apologize. He's not registered because he's got a long sentence in prison still to do. So she rides out with sex offenders, but she's not wrong. She said, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. During the Grammys last night, Nicki Minaj spent her evening flaming the ever-loving fuck out of these celebrities and exposing them for who they are and what they've been doing. Alex Jones said, I want to thank you for your courage and extend an invitation to you to join me on my broadcast. P.S. I loved your comment about Don Lemon. That's pretty damn wild that this is coming from Nicki Minaj. It's so bad that a woman who knowingly married a violent rapist and whose brother, who she still supports, who's a pedophile, she's like, yeah, this shit is too much for me, fam. I'm not playing with this shit. I'm not playing with this shit. So what is Donald Trump saying about all this? Because it's becoming really apparent that all of this is real, right? Like, can we all agree that all this shit is pretty fucking real? You would think Donald Trump would be like, man, look, we're getting some serious shit in this. This really needs to be looked into, correct? That would be the correct response. The correct response would be like, so you guys could see this with your own eyes now. I didn't really know what was in these files. It looks like there's a lot of shit we need to be checking into because a lot of this shit isn't fucking cool. You'd think that would be his response. Here's his response.
And no, he made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing. And frankly, the DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing has turned out, I mean, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that, because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election. So right there, you know that I had nothing to do with this guy. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. When Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well. Okay.
So why is it a waste of time? Why did he say it's a waste of time multiple times? Why wouldn't he be like, I want to see fucking arrests. I want convictions. These people are actively, it's backfiring on the Democrats. Now the move should be, let's get him in prison. Let's put him in the same cell that Epstein supposedly ended in. Let's get them the fuck in there. You know what I'm saying? It seems like he's downplaying this when it's the biggest story in the world right now, especially with this. Holy shit, especially with this. Epstein's ties with Bill Gates and the World Health Organization preparing for pandemics. Please find attached draft agenda for meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. Let's discuss next steps. For example, how to officially involve the WHO and the ICRC, like co-branding. Best regards, and I hope we can pull this off. Are you telling me that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates conspired to pull off this COVID shit that they did to us? Are you telling me that motherfucker who was out there doing this child raping shit helped conspire with Bill Gates to push this vaccine, to topple small businesses and economies with lockdowns, to push us to see how much they could push us and make sure that we were compliant? Bro, this shit is the biggest story that's ever happened in human history. In human history. This is the wildest shit ever. But if you still are a little bit like, well, what's going on with this Pizzagate shit? What's up with these food references aren't really slapping. Here's Oliver Collum and Jeffrey Epstein. They actually let this dude's name out. They haven't done that on a lot of these. But it says, I like white sharks, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones. No, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. it says, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. I like your philosophy, but not so much if it's too pink, although I'm definitely more into white than any other color. I like shrimp. I can't even think of the smell of black shrimp. Ugh. We are again in agreement. They're not talking about seafood, homie. They're talking about kids. Some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. They're talking about fucking children, you guys. Right here. The king of Saudi Arabia has a few white sharks at his Jedediah place. I totally prefer yours. Sure, I would enjoy the view. Holy shit. On my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls. So they're talking about they're like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. And then Epstein says, when he's asked, where are you? He says, oh, I'm on my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls. That's fucking insane, you guys. As two are Russian, I guess some might refer to them as white sharks. And again, I can't even think of the smell of black shrimp. Ugh. They're clearly talking about the color of women. Girls. Sorry, girls. This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy shit. Now, as we said before,